everybody, it's Guinevere, and I am having a little bit of an addendum to last week's oracle. I'm pretty sure it was a week ago, but don't quote me on it because time. I've been making jokes about uh, what a year this week has been, and then I switched it to what a year this day has been. It's pretty much constant as far as so much information rolling out that it's a little challenging to keep up with it. Anyway, so you're here or you caught up with me later. And the reason why I'm doing an addendum that is dedicated just to twin flames is kind of twofold right now. One is we are in a twin flame portal or twin flame energy at this time, which is really cool because when I did your oracle and I was giving advice on what to do in regard to twin flames, I didn't know about this one right now until I read the astrology. So it's one of those wonderful flows where I'm not, it all complements each other. So the astrology and the readings, and then I find out from other people who are also doing the same work that I'm doing. And so it's this river, right? So you don't have to fight it. It's just we got dropped in on the same spot and we're all floating at the same rate to some degree, unless some of you guys are in the back caught up in some brambles or some rocks, which happens. So it's okay. It's not your fault if a bear caught you on your way by. It's all part of the river life. Hey, but nobody ever mentioned going with the flow like that. A bear might eat you. We got bears all around here. Okay, so here's the deal, and I'm hoping you take these words deeply into your heart. I'm hoping you hear me, and I know that we are our own version of filters. That sometimes we hear something that brings up all of our passion, and then it transforms in our mind from what was said to what we want it to be. Okay, which is why I'm doing an addendum. I'm going to roll us back now to the last oracle when I was explaining that in the interactive energy between you and the world at this time, in this cycle that we're in, and especially right now, this second, today, we're to find a beautiful space to surround yourself with something beautiful and to basically send a blast of love light out to your twin flame, wherever he or she may be. Okay? That was basically the instructions. It was a lot longer. I'm not going to go into all the details about that. Instead, I'm going to go into the things I didn't say to explain the things I said. So sometimes, just so that I'm not talking to you guys and giving a 3-hour lecture, I try and bring it down to the basics and give you like homework to do. Go do this homework. Okay? That's what I'm trying to do, is trying to inspire you to get a paddle, right? And come in the river with us, hopefully with a safety vest. Push away from the rocks if you get stuck, just advice. So here's what I didn't say. So last week, the energy of what we were supposed to put out into the world was the energy of thinking of the highest, most divine, most blissful possible blessing you could send to the twin flame. Yes? I'm going to say that again, okay? If you guys think I'm crazy, I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that the people in the back are hearing me. To send out, like it's your turn to bake the pie, send out the blissful energy to wherever your twin flame may be. Whether your twin flame is 3 inches from your shoulder, or your twin flame is on another planet, if your twin flame is in spirit, if your twin flame is in body, if your twin flame is drunk, if your twin flame is lost, if your twin flame is has gone mad with the shit that they've run into, I said send it out to them. That's what I said. Okay? I said find it in yourself to be that blissful being and send it to them. And then I even emphasized, you may think you know who they are, but You may not be correct. And I kind of skated around and kind of danced with what a twin flame was, but I didn't really stick with it because I was giving you an assignment. Send it out. And I said, as soon as you sent it out, wherever they were, wherever they existed, it would be simultaneous. It would be quantum. It would be instantaneous, that the two of you would make this beautiful bond, and no matter where they were or what form they were in or how lost they may be or what have you, that they would immediately respond in kind. That even if their conscious mind couldn't understand or recognize, their souls always know you. That's why they're called a twin. Okay? So, now I'll tell you what I didn't tell you. I'm going to explain why I said send it out. I'm going to explain why I said be in the most blissful state you could possibly be in, to go into your highest sense of spoiling yourself, to make sure that if you're having a meal, you're having a meal that is the best you can imagine, or to go to a place at the beach, or to sit under a tree, or to soak in a hot spring, or to run naked in the woods, whatever it was that would bring the most joy out of you, taking you on a date. Having a date with yourself, okay, was so that you could get in that energy that's pure, that energy where you know that you long for that other person to be with you. I did not tell you to go with that other person. Oh, what? I didn't say that. I never said it, but that's where the filters come in. And people go, I want to be with that twin right now. How do I make this happen before the portal closes? Please, you're only in charge of yourselves. If your twin is confused or lost or not even alive, then you can't even have this physical thing at this time. So you have to have this centered within yourself. So what I didn't tell you was the reason why you were sending instead of going out and seeking or sitting in a place of receiving where the twins would be immediately looking for you. And I said the twins would be seeing this, that any twin, so everybody's seeing this. I don't believe in coincidence. That way, everybody seeing this is literally getting this instruction. If somebody didn't see this, it doesn't belong to them. It's not their time. They're not supposed to be doing this work. If you're sitting in front of me right now, live or later, 5 years from now, 15 years from now on another planet or some other planet pick this up, this is for you, okay? It was because the twins were in a state of death, okay? Now, I'm not saying death to scare you. I'm saying that twins are representative of the energy of the phoenix. They can never be separated, and they can never truly be lost to you, but they can appear to have died. If you've done your research on phoenixes, they burn brightly, twin flame, they burn passionately, they are mythical, powerful. The most amazing image you can reach into your mind is this beautiful on fire bird shining in the heavens, so bright that stars are like, oh, look at that beautiful phoenix flying by, this thunderbird, this beautiful, beautiful Garuda flying by, lighting up the skies, right? Well, eventually it has to rest, it has to recharge, it has to dream, it has to rebirth itself, it has to constantly part of the cycle of change. That's how we grow in our wisdom, is to be in the cycle of change. And when that burning brightest starts to burn itself to ashes, it turns into nothing more than a pebble of an ember of a memory in your heart, in your mind. But that little pebble, that little ember, is a laser beam that can never be broken between twins. Okay? And since I knew that right now we were in ashes, and since I knew that right now we were in ashes, recognizing that somewhere our twin is experiencing some form of ashes, there's pain out there. The reason why I'm even doing this is I triggered people. In a million years, if somebody had said to me, oh, you're going to talk about twins, and then people are going to literally go ass crazy on you. They're going to be going crazy about fixing this or restoring it or bringing it or confronting it. And I wasn't asking for that, because that's, everybody is dealing with their own form of ashes. Some of you may have just come out the other side. So you're like, what? I don't know. Should I be scared? It came out the other side fine. Be happy, okay? Celebrate your twin flame now. If you see this and you're with your twin flame, celebrate them now. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. But most of the people, because it was in its ashes form, it came to me in the ashes form, are needing now to infuse that line between you and the twin flame with every ounce of love you have, because both of you are burnt out. Oh, air quotes. I'm sure I scared somebody. I don't care. I love them. You can't stop me. I'm a rebel. Anyway. So, that's what I was asking. And yes, I'm okay with legitimate questions. I'm okay with people who don't hear me correctly and come at me, because I'm actually happy with that, because it can help. You know, it gives me the idea that maybe somebody out there was in so much pain they couldn't hear what I was saying. And of course, I wasn't going to scare you guys by talking about ashes. I wasn't going to scare you guys by talking about the challenge. I feel like we're all a little tired right now, right? And if you're not in that right now and you've come out the other side, I didn't want to scare you, make you feel like you're going to lose something you just found, especially right now. It's a beautiful thing, this gateway, twin flames, and Jupiter and Venus doing their fortunate dance in our favor, Mercury out of retrograde, all the numerology, all the portals, all the things happening right now, right? But knowing that you had to make your experience with the world, the sitting in the highest form of bliss and giving every ounce of your love to that imaginary, invisible person who really does exist and is not imaginary and is visible maybe on a plane. You were supposed to send all of that so that you could both rise together, so that the flames could awaken you, so that you could see again. Because many of you are blind, and many of you are lost, and many of you are sad, and many of you are tired. And I said last year we were in a crisis with this. I said that there was a crisis taking place between men and women, between whatever it is we're doing, because of the fact that, you know, there's a need for healing on both sides. And everybody's they're all doing their own work. Like, I can't even say what everybody is, because everybody's so unique. They're all doing their own work. They're all caught in something around that. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you a random one. What if your twin flame has been programmed since birth to only love women who are under 110 pounds and blonde? Well, that leaves out about 60% of the rest of the women on the planet, doesn't it? Because he was raised to believe that if he had any worth at all, that he would pick the one that was the prettiest. Let's say it's that. Well, then, I guess then he's lost, and he never found his heart, and he didn't find his own preferences because he allowed other people to tell him what was acceptable or what was attractive or what was beautiful or what was meant to be. And so then the illusions and the lies create the pain and the sorrow, and there's always some sort of massive pendulum swing in somebody's heart where they start cheating on the type that they really want and showing off the type they were told to have. And this is such a I can't even with that story, because it's so consistent, where a man in his culture or a woman in her culture will pick somebody that they feel like matches what they were told to go after, instead of listening to the vibration, the echo in their heart, the pull, the draw, the tractor beam of love that doesn't care what you were told, because it's bigger, it's purer, it's more perfect. It's not what your parents told you. It's not what the TV told you. It's bigger than that. It grabs you, and once it has you, it doesn't let go. And did any of you guys manage to watch your Shakespeare? The Capulets, the Montagues? What happened to Romeo and Juliet? Did they ride onto the sunset all happy, or were they beleaguered by their families' stories? Were the fact that both families stood in war and hate against each other, holding two pure people, individuals with their own destinies hostage? The answer was, that would be yes. So there's many forms of that. That's an extreme story in an extreme form, and some people are experiencing that extreme right now. And then there's softer forms of that, which is the weight or the culture, or whether or not she's dominant or submissive based on what you think she should have been, or whether or not he's dominant or submissive based on what you think he should have been. Again, I could go on and on. I could bore the hell out of you guys right now, telling you things you already know or already feel or already are experiencing. Okay? Sometimes our peers are great because they can raise us up and they can inspire us, and sometimes our peers are our worst enemy because they won't let us self-individuate. They won't let us become stronger in what we are or show that we can love something exactly as it is without wanting to change it or make it different. And then of course there's the area where you want to change everything and make everything different just to fit you perfect, and that doesn't allow you to grow. Okay. So yes, ashes. Everything I'm talking about is related to some form of ashes, some form of loss or lost. Loss or lost. And again, if you are with your twin flame right now, bless you. It's a wonderful time. If you found them and you're in a little bit of a mess, bless you. Wonderful time. If you think you found them, don't force your thoughts and feelings on them. Don't try and mold them, because that's not going to make them love you. That's going to make them feel like, how did this happen to me? What have I done wrong in my life that this person can't love me exactly as I am? Perhaps if you really feel like you love somebody, learning them will teach you. Learning them. That's the way to grow. Okay? So yes, that's why I'm just trying to help. You know what I mean? I'm trying to share what wisdom I know. And it's not personal wisdom. It's not just what I've experienced. I've spent my entire life literally in the oceans of love, helping people always with love. Love is the most important thing. Do you know that? There isn't anybody on this planet who can survive without it. People who don't have it are ill, and they're harmful, and they're scary, and they're scared. Love is our food. It's our heart food. We have food that keeps our body running, but love is our heart food. So you love your cats, you love your dogs, you love your family, you love your tree in the backyard. Love is a meaningful thing. Okay? So I know a lot about love, and I know a lot about how people get lost, and I know a lot about the struggle, and I know a lot about the pain. So I am more seasoned than I care to be. I love love above all else, but let me tell you, if you've been sold the story it's going to be easy, well, I'm sorry. It can be easy, and it can be the most inspiring thing you will ever know, but it's not designed to make your life all better, okay? It's not designed to fix you. It's designed to allow you to become more who you are. More who you are, more expressive, more you. You know when you love somebody so much, you just shine your light right into them. You just want them to succeed in everything they've ever wanted. You just want them to be happy. That's shining your love out there in the world. That's making, you're growing people with that. You're not telling them what to become. You want to see what they're becoming because you're in love with what you found. You found somebody and they made your heart stop. Learn that. Learn it, okay? So the ashes, I'm back to the ashes, back to the ashes. I'm going to keep coming back to the ashes. And I'm going to ask you to recognize that within you exists a template to your soulmate, okay? You're going to have to learn how to love you, because the ashes are the reason why you had to go through into a bliss state, even tricking yourself into a bliss state to shoot that beam of love to that other poor suffering person wanting that love from you so hard, just like you want the love from them so hard. Somebody must start the dance. So that's why I said send it out. So I had two questions. One wasn't really a question, more of a warrior cry, and that's cool. I'm always cool with that stuff. The first question was, should I call my soulmate, even though my soulmate is, my twin flame is a narcissist? And that was clearly not what I was saying to do. And to the beautiful soul who brought my attention to the fact that other people would assume that now they had to call people and send letters to people and I guess show up on doorsteps and stuff to be like, hey, really painful twin flame, I think you're the one. You need to fix things with me, even though you're a horrible person, perhaps is a narcissist and perhaps could cause me harm. That's a no. That's why I was saying not to do that. I wasn't telling people to go out there. I was not telling you to go out there. I was telling you to send energy out there. I was telling you to go here and send energy from here out there. I don't know if that is her twin flame. I do know that that is a situation that she should not throw herself under the tracks for. She just came out of a really wounded situation and she herself is really wounded. You need to come to the twin flame here. You need to make love within. You need to start healing. You need to love yourself enough to start healing. The second one was hysterical. She basically just told me her twin flame didn't know where the hell he was and she didn't have any time for that shit. that was the warrior cry. To you, I recognize you, and I'm feeling you, and you are speaking from the ashes. And who better to know the ashes than people born in the sun sign Scorpio, always rising again, right? So, again, this is not about giving to somebody you feel like failed to give to you. This is about giving to yourself, knowing that that internal, living within you, twin, the one that's perfect, that still exists, that wants to be found just like you, inside of you, needs the attention, needs the song, needs the resurrection, and needs the love. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to love yourself. I'm asking you to recognize that within yourself is the other. Okay? I want you to imagine this hand is broken, right? And this hand works. This is your twin, maybe, and this is you, maybe. Or the other way around. Regardless, you can't keep banging the fuck out of the hand that isn't working to get them to come together. So how about, like twins, you bring your hands together and you imagine one hand is you and one hand is your twin, and guess what? You need both hands to do this move right here. Come together in prayer. Come together right now over me. Sorry, it can be cheesy. Such a subject, water break. Okay, so all that love needs to be happening. And because this gateway is about us healing it within us, within us, within us, within us, within us. This is a selfish time. I want you to be selfish within yourself. Within yourself. Within yourself. You are a perfect pair. Maybe you've merged. Maybe the minute you close your eyes and you fall asleep, you merge every night. Maybe it's already happening, but in the material plane it has not yet manifested and may never in this lifetime. One of the things people learn about twins is just because you get to meet them doesn't mean you get to keep them. It's a myth, also again, back to the it's supposed to be perfect. It's not perfect. And so the love has to be within, because that constant connection with the other that exists within and also reflected in magnitude and fractals and dimensions out. The minute you're doing that, the caretaking has begun. And whoever the other person is being taken care of, and that wakens them from their slumber, from their ashes. They don't know why they woke up feeling away. They don't know why there's tingles up and down their spine. They don't know why their hair stands on end. They have a feeling something special happened. You're that something special. You are the specific that something special by treating yourself as something special, and by recognizing you and that one can never be parted, even if they're not in your life right now. It's not possible. So soulmates, that's how soulmates come in, right? Because sometimes we have to be separate from them. And soulmates are fun friends and fun lovers who know that their twins are out on mission and won't be back soon. And so we keep each other company. We're such whores that way, if you know what I mean. So most people are in soulmate relationships, which is fine and which is good, and which also sometimes grows us and sometimes doesn't grow us, depending on whether or not we have found ourselves. So I'm going to talk really quickly on markers, okay? Just to help maybe guide you toward your twin. And I want you to be aware of the fact that I may have some blind spots and you may know more, or you may know something I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what I do know. One of the first markers is because the twin can't be parted from us, and from birth to death and beyond, we are never actually parted from them. They actually exist within us. They're informing us and dreaming us and one with us, even out there crying or laughing or dead, right? Is that they're constantly in conversation. There is a constant dialogue taking place. The thing is, there's so much a part of us, you may feel like that's your unconscious. So one of the first markers is that somewhere or constantly, depending on how well you've allowed yourself to know yourself, your twin's constant conversation has already told you something about them. So I can only give you examples on this. I started dialoguing with my twin when I was 16 years old. I didn't know I was dialoguing with my twin at the age of 16 at all until we actually started having discussions when I found him later. I had no idea. So I would have these things that I knew just right away because of the conversations we were having. and those things that I knew I would write in my journal. And I didn't know why I was supposed to be sad, because I didn't know what obstacles we were going to hit later. I didn't know why I felt like it was almost impossible to get to him. I didn't know what was standing between us. I felt like love was so powerful. Wouldn't we just find our way? We did. Against all fucking obstacles and odds. We did. But it was never easy. So here's this information flowing to me that's painful, not beautiful. Sorrowful, not joyful. And what I did when I was 16 years old, and I'm going to tell you this story, I really want you to grab this and understand the profoundness if you're having that internal dialogue, which is where I'm telling you to look, okay? Is I drew me crying, because I'm an artist, I drew me crying, laying naked, vulnerable, on the ground, reaching up to the door, my soulmate, my twin flame, on the other side of this door, but it's locked. And the key is within reach, it's right next to me. The key is right next to me. And it's got this beautiful heart on it. And the lock has this beautiful heart on it. It's like, this is your twin. And the key, which is right within reach, laying right next to me, is in a bear jaw trap. Like, I know if I reach for that key, I'm losing an arm, a limb, or getting trapped and not making it to the door because the chain is lanced down into the ground so that I'm stuck and I now have the key, but I can't reach the door. 16. That's a lot of drama for a young 16-year-old girl, thinking wherever he is, it's going to be near impossible to get that damn door open. So later, after we meet, I see something he drew the same exact year. And it was actually deeply sad to see how much we were dialoguing from very early, that we knew we were going to have to go through things, that there were going to be struggles, his struggles, my struggles, his background, not mine, because I just divorced myself from mine. I was running free in the world, free range. What he painted was a bird tied up in ropes. The rope so tight the bird couldn't move. And when you think about when you tie up a bird and you're going to sell it for market, it's upside down, you're getting ready to eat that thing. And his middle name was a bird's name. So it was him. He was representing himself as this bird. I'm not going to tell you what kind of bird it is. I feel it's sacred. It's between us. Upside down, hanging from a key with a heart on it across from a door that is locked. So at the same time that I said to him, I don't know what is stopping me from getting this door open. I don't know what this trap is. He was saying, I'm trapped too. We're both trapped right now. That's what twins do. Now again, for you to have that kind of experience, which could or could not happen depending on what your individual journeys are, you would have to be able to talk inside, express yourself in your journal, through your dreams, in your artwork, because talking to yourself is talking to your twin. That's why all those years of artwork, when I finally met him, our art and our poetry was like this beautiful concerto between two people. And it became only apparent when we met that he was my twin. And even then I was never truly certain, because it was always one thing after another, and we love to think it's just going to work out, like it's just going to be perfect. And I have to say, it's a leg up that I met him, a leg up that we were lovers, a leg up on a lot of different things, because it's work to meet them. And sometimes we're not meant to meet them. Sometimes they're not meant to meet us. Imagine if just this lifetime your twin wasn't able to make it through certain sufferings and certain pain, and that they could cause you harm. Well, then the greatest blessing they can bestow on you is to not choose you at this time. And these are the way things work. And again, there are many different stories, many different fractals, or many different facets. But one of the markers for finding a twin is to recognize the dialogue. If you're really good at your internalization, and your internal dialogue is going to be clearer and easier to understand, more obvious when you meet them, if it's clear here first. And then there are many other things. There are dreams that unite you. There's dreams that come that show you the way. There's instant recognition. So if you think, oh, I'll see them and I won't know, that's not true. It's not even possible. It's like two lightning bolts hitting the same tree. It's that big. So it's big stuff. It is big stuff. And if you are full of tumult and you're full of emotion, you're full of anger and you're full of fear, then guess what? They are too. So now bring those two lightning bolts together. It's a very unstable chemical equation. It's one of the reasons why twins tend to find each other when they're doing well. They tend to find each other when at least one of them is doing well, because it creates some sort of ability to work with each other. But if they're both not doing well, it's you times 1,000. So if you've ever been with yourself and you think, I can't even live with me, I can't wake up or go to bed with me, I'm making me crazy, then imagine throwing that in. You would run screaming. Okay? So let's go to soulmates real quick, just so that we have a clarity on this. Soulmates are really sweet, and I love them all. And I've been lucky enough, and I don't say this to brag, I just say this to state it as a fact. I've been lucky enough to have fallen in love with quite a few soulmates in this lifetime, and they were extraordinary, and the love was deep, and the love was true. And they recognized and reflected it right back at me, and many of them are still connected to my heart. And soulmates are really wonderful people who are part of your soul family and soul friends. And they can be with you for 3 years, and it can be the best 3 years of your life. And then after a while, you got everything you needed, and holding on to them is a stifling experience. Or you have two different journeys to go on, and you let each other go. And some people, soulmates can be so comforting, so comfortable. You can stay with them to the very end. And I'm not making a judgment on that. Most people are with their soulmates. And as somebody who's, like I said, privileged enough to have met more than one, oh my God. If you guys just wanted me to do live feeds on soulmate stuff and get you blushing so hard and like, I can't breathe, this is too much for me, then I could tell you about my soulmates. They are some tasty people out there. And you know, here's the thing that's really funny is when we would break up and they would go their own way and I'd see that they had a new girlfriend, all I could think of is that girl. Yeah, she's having the time of her life. I was never jealous. I was never angry. You know, there was a little period of time where I'd be sad and I would mourn them and I'd miss them and I'd want them to come back. But then, you know, of course, I still wanted them to be happy. And I always knew that, like, anybody who got what I just got, they're doing good. So, lucky. Very, very lucky. I've had some nightmare experiences too, but I have really good personal boundaries. So that means that when men are coming at me in a toxic, dangerous manner, if they try and force me to do things or try and own me in ways that are unhealthy, I'm just gone. So I haven't actually left room for that to happen. The only times I've been outwardly abused is when I was molested. That's not on me. That's not a date. That's not me falling in love. That's just men harming women. That's an entirely different subject, and has nothing. Soulmates or twin flames. It has to do with a lot of pain, a lot of people who haven't been corrected, and a lot of energies that haven't been healed. Okay, so I'm going to show you the twin flame code. Okay, I don't know how much of you're going to be able to see. I was actually designing it, then I was going through so many things. I can't even believe I was given the code last October. It's been only just a year, right? And in only just a year of the time that I saw the code and was doing the twin flame work on the road, so much stuff was happening over the whole course of 2019 that I wasn't able to show it to you guys. But it's not really completed. Eventually I'll post it, and I think it will be nice to share with you guys. But I'm in the middle of actually constructing it, okay? So I'm going to show it to you, and if you can't really understand what it is, I'll explain it too. And I'm going to bring it up. And, like, you know, fingers crossed that you guys can see. So this is, yeah, you can see it. That's fantastic. This is it, okay? It's not done. I'll bring it a little bit closer. There you go. It's not done. I'm still in the middle of designing it. It does have a rainbow theme because it represents the chakra connections. It represents all the colors within each and every one of us. It represents directions on the planet, and it's interstellar and interdimensional, okay? Because, of course, it's a twin flame code. I just showed you twin flame code. Now, if you want to have fun and create your very own twin flame code, which I more than recommend you do as part of a personal meditation of reclaiming self and loving self and respecting self, because again, you guys, you're in the ashes. You need to be born again. This is painful, okay? It's time to be born. Well, what it is when you think about the 5-point star, what it represents is the head, the arms, and the legs. So it represents that we're like the 5-point star, like when we stretch ourselves out like a starfish. It's a 10-point star. It's 2 5-point stars connected and joined as one. So the twin flame code is a 10-point star, and I'll show it to you again just so you can see it again. And again, like I said, when I'm done, I can't make any promises on anything because I'm just trying to hold on. I'm on a fast horse and I got the reins as best I can. When I post it, feel free to enjoy looking at it, meditating, whatever you need. Sorry about the ring light. I'm just trying to move it back so that ring light isn't reflecting so much. But again, it's a 10-point star. It's a really beautiful geometry, and it represents twin flame union. So it's a beautiful energy. I want you to work on that. And now I'm going to talk about an entirely different subject because I kind of want to share with you guys how deep love really runs, and how much by sending love out into the world, into this invisible, last week I said don't try and focus on a specific person. I actually warned people, don't think of a person as your twin flame, right? So like for people who are married, they might actually immediately assume their partner is their twin flame, which is fine, I don't care. But the point is, you're not supposed to actually think of them when you do this meditation, because you might be with a soulmate, which is fine, but this is for your twin flame, so it's more personal. It could even be considered private, right? So this week I haven't really done my meditation on it yet. Instead, I decided to focus on something else, and that's why I'm telling you guys the story. So it was about a week ago, I was in a really deep meditation, and in that deep meditation and connecting with Mother Earth and connecting with my heart energy, and it was right after I'd done the oracle and right after I'd talked about that twin flame stuff. Instead, I was in this energy of sending a heart blast out to the people who are supposed to connect through the lines of energy throughout my own ancestry to heal and to create beauty. And so I basically was like, I don't know who's out there, but if you're listening, grab one of these golden ropes. Let's do this thing. Let's bring about healing and beauty and unity and consciousness and bring something beautiful. So with me, it was kind of like making my family a twin flame. That's what I was focused on. I was setting out my my highest and my best, all the things I'd ever worked on. So when you think about a lifetime of spiritual work and a lifetime of confronting a lot of different things, I was in the sweetest part of the work. Like after you finish the work, you can sit down on your creation, and I was sending that beauty out. And because the synchronicity and magic that's around us is bigger just by following our own footsteps. Again, I'm back in this area where you have to understand it's not something foreign to you. You have to know you to find you, which is also you have to know you to find your family also. So I'm just doing what I normally do. I'm just loving on the people I love on and sending prayer out to the people that I know are doing their very best to try and heal the human family. And my focus really is on making sure to be present for people I know who are putting their best out there. My friends are in a very large group of that, and many of my friends who are seeing this, they're constantly putting love into the world in literal form and helping as much as they can. And so I was just doing what I normally do, and I was watching the live feed of one of the water protectors, and I was doing what I normally do, which is just tuning in for however long, because he'll suddenly show up in my feed, and when he does, I'm always in a state of prayer and sending him healing, because he's still dealing with PTSD from protecting the river against the corporations, and they were brutal out there. It was terrible. It was terrible. There was a lot of good people trying to create a very beautiful message, which they did successfully. Even if it was small, it's still growing. Maybe it's 2 years old now, and I don't mean like actual years. I mean like a toddler, but it's growing, and it's nice to see it continuing to mature. And so seeing him going through such pain and struggle, I was lucky enough to be there when it was beautiful. I left before the horror show started, and so since then I stay tuned in and send love continuously to these beautiful people, men and women, warriors who are exemplary. And so I was tuned in, just checking out, and he was doing the thing he does. He's got his own way and his own way of being. It's very wonderful to watch the flow. Sometimes heartbreaking because he's brave enough to be vulnerable, and so there are many flavors to that man. And he was basically making comment about how he was still suffering physical after effects from Standing Rock when they Some of you don't know this, so I'm going to tell you about it. But what they did was they sprayed them down with water cannons filled with a fire retardant chemical in, like, I think it was less than 5 degrees, like -5 degrees. And, like, you can kill people. It was such the wrong thing to do. And those chemicals had made a lot of people quite sick. And so he was there getting shot by this water cannon for no more than standing up for his own rights, for real. And that's how toxic this world has really become. You all know it's true that those of us who are fighting for good things are not necessarily what the bad things want. And that's just what's happening. And it's sad. So he was talking about that. He was talking about the not feeling well, still not feeling quite as vibrant. And so just to show my support, just one little voice in the crowd, I sent him 2 kittens massaging each other. It said healing hands, just like, hey, I'm out here, I want you better. I want you well. I want you strong. I want you beautiful, sending out the good stuff. And then he was talking about something else. He was on to another subject, and I commented on that. And then I had to go to work, so I was gone. I was gone before he could even finish his live feed. A lot of the times, that's what happens. I see about 3 minutes of something, and then I have to go. And I know that a lot of you are the same. And I know a lot of you probably aren't even here with me anymore. So, like, maybe some of you came on, and then you got, I don't know, triggered, and then you left. Or maybe you got bored, and then you left. We're all doing what we do in our own pace, in our own time, in our own way, right? And I come back from work and I see that I have a friend request. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I open it up and I don't know who the person is. And when I'm looking at the window, it doesn't show any mutual friends. And so whenever I get this, I'm one of those people, if I friend request a total stranger, I will actually send a message just to say, hey, this is why I friend requested you. Like, hey, you make really cool dragon composite pieces of artwork and I think you're awesome and I would love you to be my friend. So I just introduce myself so they know that I'm not some, I don't know, something else. I don't know what they call them, the phishing scammer peoples or bots or whatever, I don't know. Trolls, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. So whenever I see a request, if I don't have anything in my inbox, I'll go to the person's page and just see, hey, maybe they're into the same things. Maybe they found me through art or what have you. And I'm looking down her page and I come across this beautiful poem called Reflections, and I'm reading the poem and it's bowling me over. It's bowling me over. I'm trying not to cry my eyes out. It is so beautiful. And I'm so deeply moved. I am moved beyond words. And I'm like, what? So I sent a message to this lovely lady, whose name I will not speak at this time because I believe in protecting certain things I speak on. So there's a lot of, you might notice I don't mention a lot of names or a lot of places. I actually protect a lot of people I speak on. If I'm speaking on them, I tend not to put them out there unless I invite them to be on a live feed with me, and then it's more like we're in it together. And by the way, I want to do that in the future. There's a couple people who need to be on live feeds with me. You need to meet them. They're amazing. They're great, spiritual, wonderful, nurturing types, and they have a lot of deep and wonderful thoughts that can really help move us all along a little bit better. But anyway, so I send an email and I say, hi, I don't know you. Your poem Reflections is absolutely beautiful, and might I ask where you found me and why you want to be my friend? Simple, right? And she gets back to me and she says that she found me intriguing. That she found me on a page we were both on. So I asked her, was it the page I was just on earlier? And she says, yes, it was. And this natural, fluid, completely organic discussion is flowing forth, and she decides to introduce herself to me more thoroughly, and she sends me a couple of her videos. So that was really lovely because now I'm sitting there and I'm watching the videos. They're all about 15, 17 minutes each. So I'm literally binge watching her videos, and like she's making me cry. I'm crying. I don't even, can barely get the words out of my, I'm just so caught in the beauty of it. And the vision and the prophecy and the relatability. And so, then I go back to work, do my thing, come back later and decide I'm going to just dig a little deeper, explore a little bit more. And it turns out she has posted in early November her ancestry. And I'm like, now I'm really intrigued, right? Like, now I'm really interested. So I decided to pop over to her ancestry and read her lineage, and which is another thing, I'm doing a lot of work on, a lot of respect work toward is my ancestry and learning other people's ancestry and learning how we all connect together. And as I'm reading through, it turns out we're related. I'm like, oh my God, we are cousins. We are for real blood related cousins. Now I'm sitting there in that moment of awe and that moment of explosive joy, having found her and realizing it's not just which is why I said my joke has been what a year this day has been. Because it started as strangers, moved to kind of cautiously friends, and then I was like, oh, I think I really want to be this friends. And then I'm like, family? Now, the reason why I told you that big, long, lengthy story is because of the fact that this is the family version of twinning, okay? So if what that work I was doing was so simple, I wasn't out there trying to call up my dad. My dad is a horrible human being. I hate to say that out loud. You're allowed to feel sorry for me or think that he's a great person and I just don't know. But he's really not a good human, okay? He's really just... I've forgiven him already, and there were moments in my childhood that were quite charming, but it was like, if you're with a narcissist, right, you have to kind of cherry pick those great moments. They're like, but look at this great moment. It's like so rare, like once every couple of years or whatever. And he basically made sure I ceased to exist in his consciousness after my mother died. He couldn't be in the same room with me without being reminded about my mother, which made a person who was already not so good really bad, because he either perceived me as the person breaking his heart because I looked so much like her, or he perceived me as her, and that was another thing entirely not good. So I forgave him, and I recognized, like what I said to you guys about maybe your twin flame is sparing you. Maybe if they're in that much pain, or maybe they're that much of a horror show that they can't come around to you until they can hold you preciously. Well, my father has proven that he can do that. So maybe that was his highest form of love. She'll do better without me, right? So you have to be able to respect that. And it's not a lie. It wouldn't have been good, right? So when I did that meditation on family, I wasn't specifically trying to call my father or make amends with my father or get my father to change or get him to accept me or get him to suddenly become evolved and love me and take care of me or see me as precious or anything, right? I wasn't specifically seeking the love of my father. All I was specifically seeking was sending the love to all the family members who wanted to meet me. All the family members that existed out there that was ready to do this thing, to bring love back to life, to bring us all together in unity. I'm no longer interested in those who want to drive us apart and prey on our bodies, because that's basically what's been going on. So yeah, so that's why it's the same thing. I just did the family version, and it was not even a week later that she and I, through me just being me and her just being her, okay, you understand, we came together on one very sassy man's page, okay, one very sassy warrior's page, who is a great artist and a big heart and is digging himself out of the hole of pain. Because, like I said, there are ashes everywhere. There are many fallen ones, many family members, both personal and far off from us, that have fallen into the shadow. And we can't get them out of the shadow by running in there after them anymore. You might have noticed if you looked at my angel portal that I said that you no longer carry this alone. It's time for us to gather those who are ready. Don't worry about the ones who aren't, and lead the way forward. Now I'm going to give you a card reading. I didn't actually promise a card reading, but because it was an addendum to the twin flame thing, because I've rattled on and told you a story and showed you a code, I'm actually trying to be very thorough, because I promised I'd show you codes and I didn't, because I didn't. My life was wild and out of my control, and so on and so on. So I'm just trying to cover a couple bases. I'm also going to start bringing up the energies of what was done on the road and also what continues to be done. But for right now, I am pulling a Journey of Love card. It's going to be the group message to us all, you, everybody who sees this at whatever time you see it. Journey of Love, I know it's in reverse, but it's called The Journey of Love, is by Alana Fairchild. She is a oracle card writer who lives in Australia, who's incredible, a beautiful human being and soul. And I'm going to pull one as a message to all the twin flames. what's the most important message that all you twin flames absorb at this time? It may not even sound romantic when I pull it and read it to you guys. Just try and glean as much wisdom as you can from it. Whatever it may be, you may get it right away or you may need time to sit with it, okay? So I'm going to figure out where the message is, and I'm going to pull for you guys. And then I'm going to call it a night. And I'm glad to be here for you. If you enjoyed this at all, please share it, because there might be somebody out there that needs to see it. I'm sure a lot of people will, if they don't need to see it, they won't even make it to this part. Who cares? It's okay. You know, like I don't get egoic about it. It's all good. I've learned that I can really trust this thing that's happening. And this last week is great proof of that. And as you step through this Venus-Jupiter portal of love and you start coming into this energy of union and unity and better focus, I want you to keep focusing on self-love. Don't look outside of yourself for the answer right now. Okay? Don't wait for somebody to say the kind word or do the kind thing. Say the kind word and do the kind thing. I'm asking you to do that. Okay? Say the kind word and do the kind thing. And don't try and control people. Don't try and make them into anything. Be who you need to be. That's the key here. This is the goal. The more pure you become, the more you allow your best blessings and best self forward to the surface, the more you allow yourself to be seen and heard in the ways that you are beautiful and elegant. I know you've worked hard on something. Be that. Be that. And when you need help, ask for help, right? Be that. Do the best you can. That's all we're all doing. So the message is the Christ flame. I'm going to show you the picture. And if you happen to be pagan and like, oh my gosh, that really is painful for me, because the church did some really dark things, I apologize. What I do want you to be very, very clear on, though, is if we look at only the peaceful, loving, inclusive message that the Christ was trying to put out there, then the church has done a horrible injustice, because he did not stutter when he said, "Thou shalt not kill." And that's a perfect example right there, because if you're pagan and you're hurt, it's because people were murdered in his name. Okay? He said, he didn't stutter. There was no addendum to the message, "Thou shalt not kill." He was like, this is my business to handle, not yours. This is in my hands, not yours. You're not mature enough. You're not evolved enough to make decisions like this. Don't make decisions like this. Let people live their lives out. It was so simple. He didn't say, "Thou shalt not defend," mind you. So if somebody's trying to kill you and you accidentally killed them, well, that was karma that right there. But you get my point. So let's send healing out to people who've been harmed by people who have twisted and warped and created dogma in religions and have lost good spiritual messages, and just basically recognize that the Christ flame is really the twin flame, right? So we're talking about twin flames. This is the message to twin flames. And so the thing I love about this is it's kind of that whole energy of recognizing that there is that perfect divine love out there. So let's say you're Hindu, then it would be the Shiva flame, right? And if you're Catholic, it is the Christ flame. And if you are, I don't know, a different religion, it could be the Thor flame, like my dog. Oh my gosh, Thor is my god. Or it could be the Zeus flame. So I want you to all stay very open-minded and recognize that everybody experiences God through their own heart, which means through their own personality, which is why there are so many faces. And here we go. And this is divine love, right? Thank you, Lana Fairchild. Within you burns the flame of the Christ. Notice it didn't say Jesus Christ. It said the flame of the Christ. So this is like a title, right? Beyond religion. She has it right here. That's why I even had to do like the addendum to the addendum. There's just been so much harm out there. This flame belongs to all hearts willing to receive the divine, opening to it as a lover would open the heart to receive the beloved. Though the awakening of the Christ within brings greater closeness to the divine and therefore greater love and depth of compassion, it too can bring sadness, righteous anger, and passionate need to contribute positive healing action and change in the world. You may be an introspective soul who does this through mastering their inner world with meditation and yoga, raising your own vibration with absolute intent that this bring healing to the world around you. You may be an extroverted soul that thrives in sharing messages, hello, and living a life of dynamic action in support of the causes that are worthy and moving to your brave heart, capable of feeling divine outrage of these soul types and choosing wisely what you consume. Which, sorry, I got lost on the page. We all do it. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't get lost somewhere there. No. There was a period. So, capable of feeling divine outrage and responding with inspired action. And that was where the period was. You may be a combination of these soul types and choosing wisely what you consume, which companies you support, what television you do or do not watch, and what you read. Voting for the life you want to have in the world through your actions, internal and external. This is the Christ flame, igniting within you, setting the world aflame with the fire of divine love. Now you have to admit that is apropos, right? I'm like, what does the twin flame energy want you to know? Okay? It gets literal in this world of doing oracle work. The flame igniting within you, setting the world aflame with the fire of divine love. The fire of divine love. It's not packed full of judgment. Okay. This oracle brings guidance that you are connecting with the universal Christ consciousness, and your heart is meant to awaken as a sacred heart, bearing the Christ flame of divine love this lifetime. You are part of the wave of awakening happening on the earth now. You are exactly what you're meant to be and doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Keep going. Now I'm going to throw the addendum on the addendum on the addendum, which is, I'm actually going to put this only for cisgender men, right? If you're a man, it's the Mary flame, right? The message literally becomes the Mary flame, not Mother Mary, not Mary Magdalene. Because remember, we're using this as a title of a specific action and behavior that's spiritual. So the Christ flame, the Christ consciousness, is the divine flame that comes from the sacred masculine. So if you're seeking sacred masculine, that connects to you. If you're a cisgender man and you're seeking divine feminine, you're looking for the Mary flame as an example. And again, we can crisscross this to the Aphrodite flame or the Zeus flame, the Thor flame, the Shakti or Shiva flame. Again, we can go on and on. And if you're one of those people who you love everybody, then you've got a lot of flames that you can be worshiping in your heart right now. So again, judgment doesn't live here. It doesn't exist in this world. This world that we're talking about isn't about human limitation. It's about the most divine, the most pure. Okay? Okay. And then there's the poem. So I'm going to read you the poem. Love is more than words can define. It is a feeling which wells up inside and longs for release. It is a smile which starts in my heart and spread across my face like a silly grin. It is a knowing so deep in my being that every cell speaks in a language only lovers know. And most of all, it is the beginning, the birth, the possibility, the promise of a tomorrow, the hope that grows into something we can only imagine when hearts combine and love becomes more. Whew. On that note, I'm actually going to share with you my twin flame experience with my partner. I'm going to leave out some details for the shy and easily embarrassed type. But there was a moment between my twin flame and I where we could hear each other's thoughts. So we had full conversations. Our longest conversation where neither of us opened our mouths. We just spoke to each other, and it wasn't thoughts when you know somebody wants to do something. Like, we were having a full-on dialogue. Our longest was 30 minutes. So there was a point where, like, I was fine with it constantly. I would have chatted his damn inner ear off all day, all night. So he had to create kind of like this wall, and I'd know it was up. It was very frustrating because I'm like, I can't hear him, that bastard. He figured it out. It's kind of like Twilight, right? Except for he was the girl in that story for me, because like I couldn't hear his thoughts unless he let me. Anyway. So 30 minutes was our longest conversation. Well, one of those times he was in a place of extreme pain and self-doubt. He was in a place where he felt he didn't deserve me, and he went dark fast. It was really intense. and I was channeling my inner flame. I was one with my source at the time that he decided to go offline. I literally went so deep into that source that's pure, that's connected to creation itself. I was so goddess, for lack of a better term, that I blasted him with all of that, and there was a ferocity to it. There was a Kali essence to it, a Durga essence to it, that it freaked him out. Oh, happens. But then he went into that. He rolled into doubt. But I could hear him. He was so caught in his doubt and his horror show that he forgot I could hear him. And in this really intense energy that was me and more than me, I looked him dead in the eyes, and I'm shooting like energy into him so hard. And I look him dead in the eyes, and I don't say it with my mouth. I say it because I know he can hear me. I say, "You know I can hear you." This shocked him. Like, his face changed. Like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot she could hear me. And I was so mad and so passionate. And I was like, "You're my pick. What do you not understand about that? How can you be so confused? I knew. How can you question how much I want to bring all this you're seeing for you to you? This is for you to you. I picked you. I'm not lost. I can hear you." And his face suddenly, it was like an earthquake. His face like cracked open. And it, like, the smile I saw was like none other. And I'm not exaggerating, he got a halo. And he was shining this gold light. And I was like, wow. I'm with Jesus. It was so cool because I just finished showing him that creation source, and when he acknowledged that I saw, I picked, he was what was creating this effusive starlight glow, and he claimed it and understood it. He showed me all of him. And so take that message, the Christ flame, transform it, transmutate it to belong to you. Your relationship with your twin flame, your relationship with your God or goddess or multiple gods or goddesses or science is your relationship. Treat it precious. Treat it like a divine lover. Shine your light into it and receive the light back. Don't get caught in the weird stuff. I'm a full-blown crazy pagan girl, and I was just like, that's Jesus. So I saw his Christ consciousness. It was really funny. I could have picked anything, but that's what he was showing me. It was amazing. So I love you guys. Do the best you can. I know that it's a struggle. I understand. I know that we can get caught up in the desire to make change, the desire to push our way through. Right now, if you have to push your way through to anything at all, push your way through to yourself. Okay? And I love you.